When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Hi, I'm John Mallis. Welcome to this live edition of Connect With Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. Yes, we're on again at 10 o'clock in the morning, a one-hour show from at 10 to 11 o'clock. We're going to be here, 436 MeTV option 11. Again, we'll be talking about water during the first half hour. The second half hour, we'll be talking to a candidate who's running for District 1 City Council here in the city of Fresno. 436 MeTV option 11. We'll be here for the duration. Pull up a chair, enjoy yourself, and call in. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Hey, just a couple of things that I want to touch on before we get into the meat of our program here in the first half hour of Connect With Me today here at 10 o'clock. Between 10 and 10:30, we'll be talking water again and kind of rebutting some of the things that Jennifer T. Buckman had to say yesterday on the program regarding water. So call in at 436 MeTV option 11. But first, I want to talk about just one or two things that were in the news last night. I woke up this morning and found out that the Golden State Warriors had beat the Clippers in a wild playoff game at the Coliseum last night. Interesting, but shortly before the game ended, I also heard and saw in the news and read on the internet this morning that Donald Sterling, it was announced, the owner of the Clippers, has prostate cancer. So, you know, I was thinking about this, a lot has happened in the last 7 days, from last Friday when that the voice mails came out on TMZ, and then all that happened during the coming days, and on Tuesday he was banned. Now, just a week later, after all of that mess and the dust has settled, the Clippers and Warriors going to Game 7 tomorrow, and Donald Sterling, the owner of the Clippers, sadly has prostate cancer. So I just wanted to pass that along before we get into our main topic today. And so water is the main topic, the main issue here in Fresno in the Central Valley. You're going to be hearing a lot about this, especially in the coming months. It's going to be a dry summer. It's going to be a hot summer. Yesterday, Jennifer T. Buckman was here. She is the legal authority for the Friant Water Authority, or legal counsel for the Friant Water Authority. She was here yesterday talking about a lot of different things. Now, today we have in the studio a person who put a radio ad together who is fighting against the Friant Water Authority because there's a bill that passed in Congress right now that they are supporting that supposedly, well, is the Friant Water Authority behind it or not? I want to play this radio ad that was sponsored by and voiced by Tal Cloud. We'll explain after you watch it.
That was the sound of over 600,000 acre-feet of water being lost because the Friant Water Authority supported the San Joaquin settlement. Last year alone, Friant sent over 180,000 acre-feet of water down the river so the government could put 5 salmon in a truck and move them upstream. Recently, Congressman Valadeo introduced H.R. 3964 that would replace the settlement with a warm water fishery like the Kings River. Friant said no. They like strongly worded letters like Costa's H.R. 4039 and phony water rallies so farmers will forget who created the policies that are causing our water shortage. Even Senator Feinstein may support changes to the settlement, yet Friant water managers are afraid to act. Friant farmers must call their local board members and water managers and demand they address this issue now. If the settlement is fully implemented, the water losses would be double what they are today. That's right, double today's losses. The time to repeal and replace the settlement is now. Call Dan Vink at Lower Tule Irrigation District at 559-752-5050. Proudly paid for by Common Sense Information.
That's right. That radio ad, written, produced, and voiced by that man right there. You're looking at him on your screen. Tal Cloud, a political activist, common sense information, railing against the Friant Water Authority. He is here to talk about what Jennifer T. Buckman said here on our program yesterday. You're free to call in and ask Tal any questions you like. Tal, you might recall, too, looks familiar, sounds familiar. He's been on Power Talk. He's also with the Lincoln Club here in the city of Fresno. Very well-respected individual. 436 MeTV, option 11. We're here until 11 a.m. We hope you are too. Back in a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Back here on the program on Connect with Me, 436 MeTV option 11. A reminder, we've got 2 half hours split into, well, one full hour split in 2. First hour we're talking about, or first half hour we're talking about water, and the second half hour we have a candidate for District 1 City Council coming in. But right now I want to welcome in Tal Cloud.
Hey, good seeing you.
How are you?
Great, great to be here.
Hey, we have something in common. We're kind of Power Talk 96.7 buddies, right?
Yeah, we are. We've done that a few times. We're fill in. You're first string. I'm third, fourth, fifth, or string.
I don't know that I'm first string. I just was lucky to be called from the bench, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're the
pinch
bench.
hit.
We're the bench.
Hey, so Jennifer T. Buckman was here yesterday. She's the legal counsel, of course, for the Friant Water Authority. Now, explain, before we get into some of the sound bites from yesterday, and I know you want to talk about and refute some of the things that she had to say. What is it specifically, the main overview about what you have against the Friant Water Authority?
Well, I think her show yesterday, she was trying to sell a lot of whoppers and telling some fish stories that weren't true. I think my problem with Friant Water Authority is they're not being truthful with their growers.
Yeah.
And I think somebody needs to shed light on what they're saying. As an example, yesterday she said they support 3964. What she didn't say is they support 3964 with a number of different conditions that really gut it like a salmon, gut it like a fish, where it has no value to really bring more water back to the San Joaquin.
Be more specific about what you mean by gutting.
What the Friant supports the San Joaquin settlement is, 3964, as long as they pull out anything to do with the San Joaquin settlement.
Let me interrupt. The 3964 is the David Valadeo bill. It's in Congress that's already passed.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's the only bill that's passed the House that actually would bring more water to the valley's east side. And they're claiming, oh yes, we support it, with all these amendments and all this information out of the bill that is taken out to match closer to the Feinstein bill, which will bring no water to the valley's east side, or very little.
3964, I have not read it, but what does it specifically say? How is it going to bring more water to the farmers?
What 3964 does, and why I'm advocating for it so hard, and why the farmers that hear this need to get off their duffs and call their water managers and get behind it, is it changes the current language in the San Joaquin settlement from a cold water fishery to a warm water fishery. And what that does is allow the water managers along Friant much more flexibility on how they administer the river. We still have a live river, which was key to the original settlement, where water will go from Friant Dam out to the ocean. But what it won't require is a cold water fishery, which requires a lot more water, upwards of 500,000 acre feet. Unlike what Jennifer Buckman said, only 200,000 feet when it's fully implemented. And yesterday she made the comment of it was we've only averaged about 200,000 acre feet. That's because it's not fully implemented. When it's fully implemented, we could lose upwards of 500,000 acre feet, which would then make Temperance Flat unfeasible.
And she made that distinction because she said without signing the agreement, we would have to release 500,000 acre feet of water. With the agreement, it's only 210. So is she misspeaking there?
I believe she's looking through it through rose-colored glasses. If Friant would continue to fight back then, they would not have lost 500,000 acre feet. They signed the bill that in some years they'll lose 200,000 acre feet, and many wetter years they're going to lose 500,000 acre feet. What this bill does, what 3964 does, would reduce the amount of water loss and would allow many farmers on the east side and in the city of Fresno to have a secure water supply.
So 3964, what's the difference between that Valadeo bill and the Feinstein bill that obviously hasn't passed the Senate?
As correctly stated yesterday by Jennifer Buckman, the Feinstein bill is about very, very, very short-term fixes that won't have a lasting impact. The Valadeo bill is about a long-term fix of many problems within the Central Valley and the water system throughout California that'll make a long-term fix. Specifically, that affects us the most locally as 3964 makes a warm water fishery out of Friant, which will then make it possible to build Temperance Flat, because at this point, it's not economically
But you
feasible.
don't want to spend billions on Temperance Flat if they're going to use the same policies, because then you're just going to be wasting more water down the river.
Correct. Without 3964, we cannot afford to build. It virtually guarantees the same policies of today.
Yeah.
If we do not sign that bill, the same policies today will be enacted. If we've signed 3964 and that comes into law, then we can build Friant because the policies will be corrected.
All right, soundbite number 1 from Jennifer T. Buckman yesterday here on Connect with Me on the program, talking about the differences between the two bills, the Valadeo bill 3964 and the Feinstein bill, which has not gotten out of the Senate. Let's hear her answer yesterday.
The Valadeo bill is looking more at a long-term fix, long-term solution for the problem with exporting water through the Delta. So they're looking at long-term ESA relief.
While the Senate bill is doing
looking
what?
at short-term immediate relief for the drought.
Okay, so that's the biggest difference. And I
So
wonder
it's a
how
big
that's
difference in approach.
huge difference in approach. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that's even going to get fixed.
Well, that's part of why a lot of the water users have been going back and forth to D.C. for a while now, because assuming that the Senate is able to pass a bill, then the two houses will have to work together to reconcile some of those differences or come up with an alternative approach that's saleable to both houses.
Right. An approach that's saleable to both houses. That was her last comment. How are you going to reach that point?
Well, I think the reality is if the Friant water users and the members in Friant aren't supportive of 3964, then that issue becomes not saleable to the Senate. So in the Senate case, they shoved their short-term fix bill down our throat. And you got to take advantage of this drought. We're going to let this drought go to waste if we fail to look at 3964 and its long-term fixes, which Friant agrees with and says there's long-term fixes as a different approach. I think we need to do both. Fix it in the short run and have a long-term solution, like we've done in other issues like the kangaroo rat, the silvery minnow, where Congress and their senators have made the long-term fixes by supporting tweaks to the legislation. Friant says they want to have a total repeal and amendment of ESA. That is not going to happen, and that is not a smart policy by Friant.
So 3964 is not looking to repeal the Endangered Species Act, just looking to modify it. Feinstein's bill won't do that, will it?
No, but they're not even looking to modify the Endangered Species Act.
Because
they're looking to just change one segment.
What one segment are they looking to
one
change?
segment is making a live river from Millerton Dam to the ocean, from being a cold water fishery to a warm water fishery. That is not changing the Endangered Species Act, and that's very doable, and it can only happen with an act of Congress. That's how we got the settlement in the first place. It wasn't the judge that made the settlement, it was Congress that passed a law that the judge agreed to drop the case with.
All right, soundbite number 2 from Jennifer T. Buckman yesterday, talking about the Valadeo bill, and if she supports it, yes or no. Here's the answer. Okay, so do you back his bill?
Do you know? Yes, we do. We took a support position.
You support his bill?
Yeah,
I mean, it's the Valadeo bill.
Yeah.
It's the Valadeo bill. It's HR 3964.
We don't support the title that repeals the settlement. We recognize that there are...
Because
if you repeal the settlement, we're left without... It wouldn't be in our best interest.
You're talking about the settlement with the San Joaquin River Restoration Project.
Right. So there are some proceedings that are going on with the State Water Resources Control Board where they're looking for higher flows than we have in our settlement. And so we don't support the repeal of the settlement.
Well, then you don't support the bill.
No, we supported the bill.
Well, you heard it, Tal. I said, well, then you don't support the bill. And she says, no, that's not true.
I think that the legal counsel should be embarrassed by her misrepresentation to the voters and the people in Friant.
How so?
Because they're not supporting the bill. they're not supporting what the bill's made up of. You either support the bill or you don't. They support the Senate bill, the welfare bill by Feinstein, when it was $500 million. She's pulled $300 million out, or still $200 million there. They support that bill that won't correct the long-term problem. They need to fully support both bills, is my point. Let them get to Congress and let our members of Congress help negotiate on this position. Because
without any outside influence from her and her water authority?
Right now we have influence from her water authority because they are not supporting these changes that are needed to guarantee our water supply long-term on the east side of the valley. Because Friant is not supporting the bill as written, they are effectively opposing it. And the senator knows that. So when the senator wants to negotiate with Congressman Valadao, the first thing she'll say is, I'm sorry, your Friant water users don't even support what's in your bill. Take that out. And guess what? He's going to be forced to take it out, and we will not have a long-term fix. We only may get a short-term fix, and we have to take advantage of this drought.
I got to take a break. We're talking with Tal Cloud. He is a political activist, common sense information, refuting some of the things that Jennifer T. Buckman said here yesterday. 436 MeTV option 11. Again, the topic today here on the program is your and my favorite topic, water here in the Central Valley. Back with our program in just a moment.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Station 51. Station 51. Television is in dire need of help. Emergency. Paramedics John Gage and Roy DeSoto, please report to MeTV immediately.
LA, Squad 51.
Dr. Brackett and Nurse McCall are awaiting your arrival.
Please stay with me. Just this one thing. It's very important.
Emergency.
I never thought anybody'd find me here.
Fire department, staff. What's the address?
On MeTV, weekdays at 5, 4 Central.
10-4.
Hey, don't be bashful. 436 MeTV option 11. Do call in if you have a question. Matter of fact, we do have a call now. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question for Tal Cloud.
Good morning. Yeah, he's talking about watering down the language as it was written and passed by the House. Does this mean, I have 2 questions. Does this mean that the bill in its altered form would have to be returned to the House for reapproval? That's one question. And then my second question is that ESA and the Sierra Club and other, I'm not making a detrimental remark, I'm just commenting, ESA, Environmental Group, Sierra Club, etc., these other political action groups that have had influence on our legislators, aren't those the same people that have been shoving down the notion of climatic change, the warming of our
Yes.
climate change? And if so, shouldn't they, instead of the double standard, shouldn't they say we have a new climatic reality, and as a result of global warming, we're going to need more water to continue to provide food for the country to eat? So doesn't it fly in the face? Okay.
All right, thanks for the call.
To answer both questions, first one being, if both houses agreed on the language, then it could go for a voice vote on the floor, and it could avoid.
It goes back, and they both have to approve it.
They both approve it, but they don't have to go back to committee. That's kind of the goal here, is it getting both houses to agree. Yeah. But if they were to strike some of the language out of the Valadao bill, it really waters it down, so whatever we get is not going to be a long-term solution. The other question, and this is very critical and what Friant will not admit, and they have the proof. Friant has a document that says, that was paid for by the NRDC and Friant jointly, that was not completed, that the San Joaquin River is too warm for salmon, and that it will not hold a salmon fishery, but the Tuolumne and Stanislaus River would be better suited for a salmon fishery, but that means you'd have to release more water out of Hetch Hetchy, which is the city of San Francisco's.
And they don't want
they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And because we're not releasing water out of Hetch Hetchy, we don't have as solid salmon in those rivers. But Friant has that information, and they will not publicly share that with their growers and let people know that, hey, this water is too warm. The Kings River is a warm water fishery. the San Joaquin River should be a warm water fishery.
It should be a one. Okay, the Feinstein bill. If both houses, if the Senate and the House agree on it and it gets signed, does it allow some water to get to the farmers, or none?
The Feinstein bill, to my knowledge, does not have anything specifically to do with the San Joaquin River or a fix for the settlement. It has to do with other things throughout the rest of the state.
So it has nothing to do with getting more water to the farmers?
It's a short
opening up the pumps. The pumps.
It'll have to do with that. That's a short-term fix this year only. The Valadeo bill is a long-term fix. They need to meld both of them together. So this is how it works. You have the Senate bill for short-term.
Right.
You have the Valadeo bill for long-term. You put them together, you have a good piece of legislation.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is the Feinstein bill, even though it's a short-term fix, the short-term, they'll get the water.
They might get statewide a couple 100,000 acre-feet of water out of the Feinstein bill this year. But further years, there's no certainty.
Yeah.
Where the Valadeo bill will guarantee certainty long-term. And that's why Friant should be supporting both equally, unamended.
Soundbite number 3 from Jennifer T. Buckman yesterday. I went back to asking her if she supports the Valadeo bill. I actually asked the question twice. Let's roll it. Getting back to this Nunes email, you know, if he was here sitting next to you, he'd say, you do not support my bill because you don't want to repeal the agreement.
Well, I think within the context of legislation, support if amended or support with changes is a very common position. So I don't think it's as black and white as all that.
But that's what he would say if he was here.
Yeah, but I don't think that
Right.
that within the industry, it's very common to have that
So
kind
you
of
don't
position.
support the bill that's going through the Senate?
The bill that's going through the Senate? No, we supported both bills, actually.
How can you support both?
Because we don't need two bills, we need a law.
I know, but that bill is so much different than the 3964.
You have to support both bills in order to be able to get a law passed.
Okay.
So, I mean, at our last board meeting, I think Tom Barcelos put it best when he said, we support both, we want them both to go forward, we need them to get together and make a law out of this. Having each house pass a bill and just let it sit there does us no good. We need a law. We need a law. We need some fixes to the Endangered Species Act.
But it sounds to the average viewer, maybe, or the novice in all of this, like you're playing both sides of the fence.
We have to get it through both houses. That's the political reality. That's how our system is set up.
Reaction?
Well, she is being factually not correct. The reality is they are not supporting both bills because they are not supporting 3964 as written and as passed. That's the only bill that's passed. The Senate bill is the one that has not passed. Because the 3964 has passed, has nothing to do with their support for the Senate bill. They should be supporting both as written and allow members of Congress to figure out and negotiate how to pass these bills. As long as Friant is not supporting 3964 as in its entirety, we will not help the valley.
Yeah, it sounds like she's not interested in these long-term fixes, only a short-term fix. Hey, let's roll soundbite number 4 from yesterday. Now, we're going to talk about this on the other side of this bite, about how much, in terms of releases, went down the river last year in 2013. We talked about releases yesterday with Jennifer Buckman. How much has gone down into the ocean from Friant Dam? Now, she says this year, this is not an issue between farmers versus fish. Here's what she had to say.
What's going on this year is we have regulators who are refusing to adjust the regulations even though the fish aren't being harmed. So we're not losing water. We didn't lose 7/8 of the water supply from the March and February storms because we want to, say, to heck with the fish. We don't think they're worth anything. We don't want to kill all the fish either. But when you have a period of time where you've got all these storms coming and the records of salvage show that no fish have been killed at the pumps through the end of March, and yet they're still releasing 7/8 of the water to the ocean from each one of those storms, that's an unacceptable result. That's why we need the ESA fix.
Whose fault is that then, that all that water went down?
It's the regulators.
Regulators meaning what? Be specific.
There's essentially 5 agencies that are working together on the drought.
What 5 agencies?
Yeah, I don't know what agency she's talking about, but what she's talking about is Northern California, not specifically to Friant and Friant service areas. And what she's asking for is an ESA fix that's not going to happen. Traditionally, we've had minor fixes, and what 3964 does is make a fix locally to our issues here.
All right. Another call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me.
Yes, 2 quick questions. One is, if it's a long-term solution, why isn't groundwater being discussed at this time? And also, would it be justifiable to restrict water districts from selling water outside the district? And those are my two questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I personally believe that there is a groundwater component between these two bills, and it is going to be addressed. It's being currently addressed at the state level, the federal level, and the county level. So that is being addressed. That's not as popular, but there is some language, and I believe these two bills that address that. In terms of selling water out of the area, there's a lot. That's a whole other segment.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get the focus on is what we can do this year to create a long-term success for our valley.
When you say long-term, you think 20 years down the road?
If we allow the settlement to continue, we're not going to lose 200,000 acre feet like Jennifer Buckman claims. We're going to lose many years 500,000 acre feet. And given climate change, if you follow that theory, the wet years we need to hold and store water for release in the drier years like this year.
But she said on the program yesterday that with the agreement in place, only 210,000 acre water feet would be lost downriver. Without the agreement, it would be 500,000. That was her claim.
That is her. That's what she thought could have happened. There's been no proof that it would have been 500 had the judge gone that way. I think she made a mistake. But the reality is, there's going to be many years where it'll be 500. And right now, the Bureau can take up to 500,000 acre feet in the settlement.
Even with the settlement in place?
They have a permit to take 490,000 acre feet with a permit every year for the salmon. And keep in mind, the flows that have gone to date have only been interim flows for the salmon. Once we have the channel improvements made, which, by the way, there's no money to do that. This is a $2 billion project to make it successful, and there's been no money allocated to solve that problem.
Last year, according to some of the data that you brought in here, 184,300 acre feet of water went downstream in 2013.
That is correct. The water year ended in March. Had Friant, they should have fought that because we were in a drought. We knew we were in a drought, but Friant chose not to fight that. They wanted to have these river flows, so we lost 184,000 acre feet that our east side communities could use today.
15,000 farmers on the east side.
So when the farmers on the east side are losing their trees and losing water, it's because Friant chose to release that water and not fight it because we were under drought conditions, and I think they had some flexibility not to release it.
Roughly how much did we lose between January and, say, March, at the end of March?
This year, as part of that 184, I'm going to guess it was somewhere in the 40 to 50,000 acre feet level. The water
This when we had that big downpour, remember?
Yeah, but there's two different, you got to keep in mind there's two different water. The water that we get for the exchange contractors comes out of the delta, and those have been restricted by a different set of rules. What I'm specifically talking about is what the farmers here in Friant should be dealing with, which is calling their water managers and say, support 3964 and Feinstein, allow the members of Congress and Senate to get this bill passed.
All right, last soundbite here with Jennifer T. Buckman yesterday, talking about her being back in D.C. and meeting with all these politicians, meeting with, her staff meeting with the local California politicians. She said that she met with some politicians, senators from the Midwest, but she talked about the Endangered Species Act and how Barbara Boxer, the senator from California, is against touching the Endangered Species Act or changing it.
You know, Boxer has some philosophical objections to anything touching the ESA, and we met with her chief of
ESA
staff.
meaning?
The Endangered Species Act.
Endangered Species Act, okay, that touches that. Why?
Because she views the environmentalists as her constituency.
That's a huger hurdle then. Yeah. That's a gigantic hurdle. I mean, if you don't want to touch the Endangered Species Act, then you're going to continue to have this same problem down the road. It's not going to be even a short-term fix. It's going to be long-term where these problems will continue to exist.
Yeah, and I didn't say that she doesn't want to touch it at all ever. She's afraid of the polarizing debate of where it becomes you either have to repeal it or give us a waiver, or it's all or nothing. Repeal it, give us a waiver, or live under this crazy regime that we live under now.
Sal, the question I have for you is there any problem, is there anything wrong with tweaking the Endangered Species Act?
Oh, no, without a doubt. We can tweak it, and it has been tweaked. But the way the Endangered Species Act gets tweaked is by members of Congress and the Senate agreeing to fix a problem, like they have in other cases in environmental law. What she's stating up there is that they think they can go change the whole thing or tweak the whole thing. That's too big of a problem. Friant should be focusing on what they have control of, and right now It's supporting 3964, and the minor tweak with this bill would do. Until all the farmers agree to make this minor fix, we're going to continue to lose water, and we have no chance of changing the Endangered Species Act because we have 2 members in the Senate that are Democrats that are on our side.
I mean, the Endangered Species Act, it went into effect when I was in high school, which tells you how long ago that was, like eons and eons ago. I remember it was a huge deal back then. So all these years that it's been in place, why is it now that we're having problems with the Endangered Species Act? Because I don't remember these problems with that act back in 1980 or 85. There were major problems like we're having now.
But it's been
what happened?
It's been a compacting effect of a variety of bills that affect local. CVPIA in 92. There's been a number of different bills that have been passed, the Fry and Settlement, because of the Endangered Species Act, and now we're starting to feel the consequences. Keep this in mind. In 76, when we had a drought that was worse than it was today, we still received 20% allocation, and it was substantially
and
worse.
the Endangered Species Act was in place by then.
But we didn't have the settlement, we didn't have CVPIA. We've lost 2.5 million acre-feet of water out of the Central Valley.
So what changed? What happened?
These laws are taking in effect, and people and groups like Fryant are not standing up, and their membership and their board of directors and the attorneys are all not fighting and going along.
So as I'm hearing you talk, it's not the Endangered Species Act that's the problem, it's all these other agencies that are coming and trying to change law.
Right, and it's also the fact that our farmers are not standing up to their board of directors and their attorneys to say, look we've given enough, it's not working, and we're not going to put salmon. They're trucking salmon down the San Joaquin River. We're not going to put the salmon, trucking them down the river. It's ridiculous.
Hey, one thing I asked Jennifer T. Buckman, I got to go to break, but one thing I asked her, Devin Nunes, congressman from here, this area, friend or foe? She did not answer the question.
Well,
I think, tell you?
And that answers the question. And it answers the way she looks at Congressman Nunes and his goals, and Valadeo for that matter, and their goals to bring more water for our farmers. They think they have the right choice. And if farmers like their choice, look at how much water they're getting today. Their leadership has got them zero allocation.
Yeah, let's hope we get Devin Nunes back on this program sometime soon. He can talk about the water issue and other stuff. Tal, always good to see you.
Great to be here.
Hey,
Great to see you.
All right, my Power Talk buddy. All right, Tal Cloud here, Ian on Connect with Me. We have another half hour to go here. We're here until 11. Thanks to Tal, he's a political activist, and common sense information that you'll get right here on Connect with Me. Common sense. 436 MeTV option 11. Stay tuned. Another guest coming your way on Connect with Me.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels.
Ain't it the truth?
His name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Well, what are we waiting for?
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
I love playing cowboy. Come on, let's go.
I'm an old cowhand from the big old ranch, and my legs ain't bald.
If you're looking for a fight, you're gonna find it.
Hey, you reckon this thing is loaded?
Back here on Connect with Me, 436 MeTV option 11. If you want to call in, we're going to change the topic to city politics now. We'll talk to one candidate in just a moment who is running for Fresno City Council in District Number 1. Of course, that seat being vacated by Blong Zhang, who is probably going to be here on Tuesday, unless something weird happens. Blong's a friend of ours here on Connect with Me. He's been here many times before. At any rate, I want to put a picture up on the screen because this is one of the topics I want to talk about today. That man right there, Mark Standrift, he was hired by Mayor Ashley Swearingen out of Sacramento. He was a key Republican political spokesperson, hired him to be the spokesperson for the city of Fresno for the tune of $125,000. Did you hear that? That's right. The previous person who was in that position made less than half of that amount of money. But the mayor, as you know, running for state controller, political office. In the meantime, she wants to flee town and hires this guy to be the spokesperson for the city of Fresno for well over $100,000. Live in our studio right now to talk about this issue and much more is Rebeca Rangel. She is running for City Council in Fresno in District Number 1. She'll be talking about this issue with us right now and about other issues. Rebecca, welcome to the program. How are you?
Excellent. That's
Good.
A surprise to me. I didn't know we were going to talk about them.
We're going to talk about all the issues just like we did the other day with Carrie Catalano. Okay. I want to know your reaction to that hiring.
Oh boy, that's loaded.
No, it's not loaded. You got you're running for office.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared for this question.
Okay.
If you already know me, John.
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
you know me.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just say this. Let's see if I've got this right. The mayor is traipsing around the state, running for controller. We don't have a mayor running the city, but we do have this media Republican from Sacramento standing in for $125K. I don't get. And
Is that more than you make now?
A little bit. any much is more than I make now. And furthermore, we don't have enough money to fix broken fire engines. So that's my response.
Okay, so I take it. See, that was an easy answer for you.
Very easy.
So you don't agree with that decision?
Well, I think it's a slap in the face to the people of Fresno. That's what I really think.
In what way?
Well, I mean, come on. She's the mayor of Fresno, not of the state of California. Why wouldn't she? When she ran for the second term, she said she needed another 4 years. Mm-hmm. And then a year later, she's running for a state position. I don't get it. And we have no money for more code enforcement, for fixing broken fire engines, but we have $125K to hire this media mongol. I don't understand. There's a disconnect for me.
All right. A picture of Mayor Ashley Swearingen. She is running for state political office, state controller. One poll has her ahead of her opponents. Of course, the June primary is on the 3rd.
Right.
I take it just by what you said just now, just a moment ago, that you're not in favor of her running for state office. And why is that?
Well, it's not that. Don't put words in my mouth now, John. I didn't say I was against her running. I don't like the way she's running. It's not clean.
Okay, let me ask you point blank.
Yes.
Are you opposed to her running for state office?
No, I'm not opposed for her to her running for state office.
Oh, okay.
If she had done it, if she'd taken a leave, let's say that would have been
without pay.
Without pay. Let's exercise some integrity here.
Okay.
Then it would be a horse of a different color. It would be a completely different matter.
But she's taking full pay.
Heller, that's what I'm trying to talk about right here.
Yeah.
Excuse my little slang there, but I'm a little facetious when the ridiculous comes up. It just doesn't make sense.
So in your opinion, let me get this straight now. In your opinion, she should not be running for state controller unless she takes a leave and she's not paid while she's running.
That's one option, but where I'm coming from.
Option?
Well, the other option is that she fess up to the fact that she's seeking another office and give hold on a second, and give a heads up and give us a year. And run for XYZ in 1 or 2 or even 3 years, closer to the end of her term. I'm coming from being respectful of the populace, the voters of Fresno.
Who's running the
city? That's the $64 question.
I'm asking you.
I'd like to know that too. I don't know who's running the city. Nobody knows. Who knows?
You're running for office.
The mayor's,
who's running the city?
Nobody knows who's running the city.
Okay.
If nobody knows the answer to that question, the mayor's not running the city.
Okay.
Maybe this fellow. Is he running the city?
I don't know. Is the city council running the city? I don't know.
$64 question. I'm not going to assume to know the answer to that because I don't know.
Are you the Democrat or Republican?
I'm a Democrat, of course.
And so which council members are you going to align yourself with if you get elected?
I'm talking to all of them. I have a working...
No.
Hold on, Mr. No. I'm answering the question.
A call coming in here. Good morning. You're on with Rebecca Rangel. What's your question, sir or ma'am?
Hey, I got to side with your guest on this one. $125,000 seems unreasonable in a city that was teetering on bankruptcy, and the mayor had to, attempted to farm out the garbage stream to the private sector because we were in such dire financial situations. Isn't this a kind of I'd say it's controversial at the very least, and it's outrageous on the other end of the spectrum, too, that the mayor would even have the audacity to hire an outside publicist, I guess is what he is, or an attorney, to represent her when she's sort of only a part-time mayor.
Hey, now that you've added some commentary to our show, why don't you ask a question?
Okay, my question for your guest is, and this is, of course, you can't really talk about Fresno politics without addressing this in the top three. The homelessness issue.
Yes.
Does candidate Rangel have a solution? Is she thinking that maybe her plan is better than the one that the mayor obviously has had little success with?
Yep.
There's your question.
Okay. What are you going to do to solve the homeless issue?
If you let me answer that question without interrupting me, I'd be delighted to answer that. But first, let me just say, I have a working relationship with all of City Council, FYI. Currently, right now, and none of the other candidates can say that. That's number one. Number two, I do have a working solution for the homeless problem. But let me begin by saying this. When the mayor squashed the encampments at H&G, I don't know, did she think the homeless were going to disappear or what? They moved north, i.e. District 1. I'm not saying it's all the homeless, but I personally have been burglarized 3 times in 6 years. So it's a personal issue for me. So what's the solution? There's a fellow, nationally recognized lawyer living in Fresno, who's put together a program. It's his name is Doug Knoll, and it's modeled after a program in San Antonio called.
He's been here on this program.
He's fabulous.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit jaded because he hasn't had success in working with the city. However, the mayor of Clovis has been incredibly responsive. Fresno, not so much. Go figure.
I still haven't heard your solution.
So my solution is there's currently a lot of nonprofits and for-profits that are ready to step up and collaborate on quote-unquote the fix for the homeless problem in Fresno.
So you want the nonprofits to step up, not the city?
I want a lot. Well, Fresno could be involved, but what has Fresno done so far? You're going to make me be critical of Fresno, and I guess I'll take.
I'm not hearing a solution. You want the nonprofits to step in, not the city of Fresno?
I said nonprofits, for-profits, and religious communities.
Which ones?
Hold on a sec. Let me get through the structure, and then I'm not going to give you specifics yet because it's like 18 different organizations that are doing piecemeal works. Here's what Fresno needs, and nobody's talking about this in reference to the homeless. By the way, I'm not avoiding your question. It's a complex question. It's not a nickel answer, John. Sorry about that.
You like me, don't you?
Yeah, a lot. So here's the deal. We need a homeless shelter in Fresno. We needed it 20 years ago. A city the size of Fresno without a homeless shelter is absolutely outrageous, unacceptable, and needs to be
I agree with you. I mean, we need to treat these people humanely. They're
these
human
people
beings.
Is you and I, by the way.
They're human beings.
Right.
I believe that there should be a common sense solution. So your common sense solution is nonprofits getting involved, the profits and the city of Fresno can stand on the sidelines.
The city of Fresno needs to be connected some way, somehow, but here's the deal. Fresno can't run it because, not as it has so far, because...
Well, it can't even run the city. How can it run a...
Let me just tell you about the so-called quote-unquote homeless program as it stands now, and it's a really ridiculous. What do? They took that millions of dollars that they got when they got sued for throwing away homeless people's personal items about, what was it, about 3.5 years ago, more or less. And first of all those monies didn't get dispersed to the homeless. What happened to that money? Went to Housing Authority. Housing Authority, do you know how many people they house in reference to the homeless? Per year? How many people?
How many?
Less than 40. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many homeless people live in Fresno?
Oh.
Just take a guess, and then I'll tell you what the mayor says, and then I'll tell you what the truth is.
I don't know how many thousands. I don't know.
The mayor says that when they squashed those encampments, it was around 300 to 500. Baloney and macaroni.
No. That's just
for that encampment. But
look,
you know what she
that's
says
just for that encampment. Does
Right.
anybody have a figure on how many homeless people are in the entire city of Fresno?
Nobody
maybe the
does,
county?
and you know why?
Thousands.
There are more,
I don't know the answer to
tens
that.
of thousands, my friend.
Right, I know that.
A lot.
I know
and
that,
here's the
especially
thing.
in this economy.
When you've got them spread out, how do you count them? What do
Okay.
you do? You get
Listen,
volunteers.
They're bugging me to go to break.
Okay.
We got to go to break,
Let's go
okay?
to
Because we
break.
have other things to talk
Yes.
about besides
Yes.
the homeless. And you
Okay.
still haven't answered my question about who you're going to align yourself with. 436 MeTV option 11 here on the program. We're talking with Rebecca Rangel. Back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Back here on the program, connect with me on MeTV Fresno, 436 MeTV option 11. We're here until 11 o'clock. Rebecca Rangel is here, wants to be a city council member, District 1. Let's go through the list here. BRT, Fresno Bus. Okay, BRT recently passed a $37 million project that serves only a small part of Fresno. Yes, they revised the project. Yes, the buses are smaller. Yes, the stations are further apart. Yes, they altered this, they altered that. Okay, is this $37 million well spent?
John, I hate being negative. I'm going to tell you something. It's a big thing for me not to be negative because I'm a solution finder. I'm a collaborator.
We have a short amount of time here. Yes or no?
No. I'm very disappointed in the BRT.
You would never
agreement.
have supported it.
I didn't say never. I just don't like the way it unrolled.
Shouldn't we solve the entire citywide problem with the bus system?
Yes. If you've ever caught the bus and you've got to go from West Fresno to even Fashion Fair, for Pete's sake, forget about North Herndon. It's terrible. And
right.
It's not. The BRT, the way it unfolded in that $27 million, doesn't solve anything, actually.
And I'm not trying to interrupt you, but we have a short amount of time here. We got to move on. Fulton Mall, let's put that up. You support the opening of Fulton Mall, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because it's an asinine idea. The person that wrote
You cannot say that.
asinine, it's in the dictionary. Of course I can say it.
She can? Okay.
Yes, of course I can. It's an asinine idea. I'll say it again.
All right. I thought you said
I'm
something
educated,
else.
by the way.
I understand.
Well, that's in your mind, not mine. Okay, you can delete that, please. I'm not a brain
Move on,
surgeon.
move
Okay,
on.
I'm trying. Here's the deal. The people that wrote the environmental impact report for the mayor were friends of hers. I will put my last dollar on that because how can you tell me in a city with some of the worst air quality, not in the state, in the country, how can you tell me more vehicles downtown does not worsen the smog?
All
And
right, those that want to open
that's
it up,
number
they say.
one. Number two, there are people working to put the nicks on that street. That's the city of Fresno, in terms of surveys that were taken. The city was absolutely majority rules against that street, and the mayor still moved ahead.
Fulton Mall
Bad
is
idea.
not attractive.
No.
The way it is now.
That's true.
A lot of some homeless, some druggies down there.
Oh, yeah.
Unsafe.
Totally agree.
Perception is terrible.
That's right.
So changing it, won't that bring more people
Well,
downtown?
I've got ideas for change, my friend. I've got some fabulous ideas for
Give me
change.
one.
I'll give you 20, but
No,
I'll
no,
give you
no,
just
one.
one right now. How about putting a collaboration of very moneyed ethnics, Portuguese, Latino, Asians, and having, of course, parameters, structure, and letting them open up restaurants and businesses. I'm talking world class. I'm talking San Francisco, LA, and turn it into a marketplace, an international marketplace. How cool would that be? Do you think our city council could stomach that, or our mayor could stomach that? Never came up with that idea because we've got some very, very rich people of various ethnicities biting at the bit to open up business.
Are you upset?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
not at all. This
Okay,
is my, I'm a type A personality. This is my natural demeanor.
Fresno water rates. I want to put that up. Doug Vagum is fighting the city. City wants to raise them, could triple them in, 2 or 3 years, something like that. Doug Vagum says, no, I'm going to court. He actually won a court case the other day. Look at that. Dude, in August 2013, Is that right? Yeah, I guess that would be right. $18.38. Look at that, 61 cents for HCF per month. It would go up to those figures are wrong. Okay, that's what I gave you. That's wrong. You probably didn't read the email correctly. Anyway, they would triple. Let's take that off because that's wrong. They would triple take that off. It's wrong. Thank you. They would triple in terms of rates in the next 3 years. I don't know what that was doing. Anyway.
More than triple.
Okay. Are you in favor of raising the rates?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. It's we have a huge, as you know, John, indigent population in Fresno. Where's the money going to come from? I mean, we got to think of people that are struggling to make ends meet and survive. I mean, it's a bad idea.
Hey, got a call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question, quickly.
Would your guest ever consider running for president of the United States?
What was that? What did she say?
Would you consider running for president of the United States?
Is she talking to me?
Well, not me.
Well, let's get me a city council. I have been in, we haven't said this, but I've been in District 1 13 years. I managed a mental health program for children for 7. Each of those 7 years, my budget was over $500,000, where I was in the black at the end of each year between $70,000 and $95,000. I set up 6 sites for children with mental health issues and work with their families, set up a resource list of over 92 people and organizations. I want to serve District 1 because I've been there the longest, graduated from Fresno High, graduated from Fresno City College, went away to get the rest of my education, came back, and I taught at City College. Been a social worker and a social advocate for over 30 years, and I happen to be very strong.
Okay.
It's my time.
Another call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Stand up straight, sit up tall, and you don't have to do that with the microphone. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes,
We can hear you
I
just
tend
fine.
to agree with Rachel about the downtown area because of the ethnic and stuff, and I thoroughly support her idea about that because that's the idea I had with it, because it's not going to work by running a street through it. So that's my comment.
All right. Thank you much. We got to take a break. Rebeca Rangel is our guest. We're back. 436 MeTV option 11. A lot to talk about in the last few minutes. Back in a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD, 3D, web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Back here on the program, 436 MeTV option 11. Hey, we're talking with Rebeca Rangel and another call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Okay, I guess you're not on the air. Okay.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. I live in District 1, and I didn't know she was a candidate, and so I just want to, I'm interested in supporting her.
Okay. All right.
So,
Well, do you have a question, really quick? Do you have a question, yes or no?
Oh, I just need to know her name.
Rebecca Rangel. She's running for District 1 City Council.
1C.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Can we give my website?
Yeah, go ahead, quickly.
It's Rebeca Rangel for FresnoCityCouncil.com, and it's Rebecca's with 1C and 4 is FOR. So Rebecca for FresnoCityCouncil.com.
All right.
And thank you.
Let's get to this. Chachansey Park, let's put that up. Fresno Grizzlies draining the city of Fresno to the tune of millions all over the past, 14 years. They lost $1.3 million last year. Gross revenue was $6.6, but they owe $1.5 million to the city of Fresno in 2014. What do you do to solve this problem?
that's not the only boondoggle we have going on. We've got a lot of dogs sitting around city council. And reference to Chancey, I think we've got to do something. We've got to use it more, first of all. There's so much that could happen at Chancey. There's plenty of money to be made. There are many, many people, organizations.
I haven't heard what you're going to do about that.
I want to use it more. I want to use the stadium. So, it's like having a diamond in the middle of your backyard and pretending it's not there. We need to use it. It's got to be a venue that needs to be opened up, period. We can't pretend it's not there. It's a debt we have. We've got to pay it off. And how do you do that? By using it.
And how are you going to use it?
Well, we've got to open it up to organizations and groups that want to use it. There are plenty that want to use it. We could have Big Brother, Big Sisters have funds there, organizations there. The PD could have fundraisers there. We can have schools have monster functions there. There are plenty of different and varied groups that would love to use it, but there's no creativity.
Yeah. You're moving around a lot. You're kind of moving out of the screen.
Okay.
You want to scoot to your left a little bit? Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, and sit
I
up
can't.
tall.
No,
There
this
you
is
go.
how tall I am.
Fresno Police Department, let's put it up on the screen. The city said, you know what? We're going to give you a 6% pay cut with no contract extensions. Union came back and said, okay, we'll take that 6% reduction, but with a one-year extension. Haven't heard anything since from the police or the city on this matter. Their contract comes up next year. What do you do with this police issue?
It's a hard one. I know Jackie Parks, and I'm very familiar with this. I am on the Police Chiefs Advisory Board, have been for 12 years. I think they're playing chicken. I think no news is good news. Jackie hasn't, the POA hasn't come to the table. What is the mayor going to say? She's made her offer, a 6% cut.
Wait a minute. The police came to the table with their own offer.
With their own offer, right. But I'm talking about in reference to the offer the city made for that 6% cut. It needed to be...
They did come back. They said, we'll take the 6% cut with a one-year contract extension.
And the mayor said no to the cut. So we're at an impasse. So I say mediate. That's what I say. Because neither are talking, and yet we're getting closer to that deadline. So what do? You've got to talk. You've got to talk. I say mediate. That's what I say.
All right.
Somebody has to be an adult at the table.
You mentioned, but I still don't know what the solution is.
I don't know the solution either. I say we bring in that third person and have...
All right, let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
It's a yes or no without elaboration.
Yes.
Should the police take pay cut concessions based on the nature of their job? Yes
Absolutely
or no?
Not.
Okay.
No.
All right. Fresno Fire Department, you touched this earlier. There was an article in the Fresno Bee not long ago. They have aging equipment in terms of fire trucks, ladder trucks, or fire engines, ladder trucks, hoses, other types of equipment. They need equipment now. What do you do about fire if you don't have the money? It's public safety. What do you do?
Well, I just think it's amazing that we don't have money for aging equipment for the PD. I'm sorry, for the firefighters, but we have $125,000 for a media guy. See, I don't get that.
Right.
I don't understand. So I can't answer that question. It's a question for the mayor, actually.
Okay. You don't have to lean into that, Mike.
Sorry,
we can hear you fine.
Oh,
all right. Mayor Swearingen, budget proposal for the coming year wants to up it to $287.3 million. That's up from $286. She wants to keep the current level of 711 sworn police officers, add 8 firefighting positions, and increase the total to 311. Support job creation, fund a limited degree to the equipment and replacement program for the Fresno Fire Department. What do you think about that proposal coming from the mayor?
Well, she's not talking about cutting fire and the PD, so I didn't hear that ever. So
you agree with that?
So I think right now, yes.
Okay, phone number and your website again?
My website is Rebeca with 1 C, so that's Rebeca for FresnoCityCouncil.com, and the 4 is FOR, and my number 559-761-9650. Again, 761-9650. And there's actually a forum on the 8th of this month. That's next Thursday at City College, 4 o'clock, the old auditorium. If you want to see me live and in action, kicking you know what and taking names, come to Fresno City College old auditorium next Thursday, 4 p.m. and see me live. I'm much better in person. Thank you very much, John.
You're very energetic. Are you an angry person, or are you just energetic and enthusiastic?
I'm a Virgo. I'm very energetic. It's
What does
my
that
nature.
mean?
It means I have a lot of energy.
You do, and I like
yes.
that.
Totally.
I like you.
I like me too. But I like you too, John.
thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming on the program. And
Absolutely.
good luck to you and your campaign.
I don't need luck. I need votes. I'm actually going to go hit the
All
trail
I can
right
say
now.
is good luck, my friend. Good
Thank
luck.
you
That's what I
very
say
much.
to all the candidates.
Very sweet.
Right here on the program. Rebecca Rangel running for City Council District 1. Don't move. We're not done yet. We're back with our program here Monday on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno, Comcast 187. Have a great weekend. Hey, my friend Dennis Hart will be here and many others. See you then.
Bye.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.